This is Professor Sensei.
It's your host, Desla.
Hey guys, this is Billy.
This is Saxophone.
Hey yo, this is Obsto.
This is Glow.
This is Crimstrana.
Hey guys, this is ZBG.
Hey, this is A-Town, and you're listening to the Rising Rush Podcast. All right, everybody, welcome to the Rising Rush Podcast. We talk everything Dragon Ball Legend related, such as news, meta, hot takes, you name it. I'm your host, A-Town, alongside our co-hosts, Obsto, Desla, and Glow. And today is a very special episode because we have the anniversary that has dropped officially. So let's go ahead and kick things off talking about the news and updates related to the anniversary reset of the 25th of May. First things first, we have the intersecting space-time, the Invincible Super Warriors. That's here through the 17th of July. We've also got the Legends Anniversary Step-Up banner, the Blazing Azure combination. And that's going to include the Gogeta. That's currently live up and through the 17th of July. We've also got the other legendary step-up, the Untouchable Ultimate Fusion, featuring the Vegito. That's currently live up until the 17th as well. We've got the Thanks for 6 Years Summon. That's through the 13th of August. We've got the 3 Legend Limited Guarantee 100x free summons. That's going to be happening through the 24th of July. They've got a anniversary exchange shop for coins. That's up until the 31st of July. We've got anniversary special missions. That's going on to the 17th of July. We've got login bonus. That's going through the 6th of August. We've also got the 10-day 1 Legends Limited unit. That's also going on through the 13th of August. We've got the anniversary challenges that are in game live. Again, that's going on through the 17th of July. We've got the Line 'em Up Anniversary Food Tour. That's live until the June 19th. We've got Choose Z Power event. That's through the 17th of July. The Shenron Exchange codes that they typically do every anniversary where you scan and you get the 7 Dragon Balls and other bunch of items. That's through the 17th of July. We've got the Upgrade Bonanza. That's live until June the 1st. We've got the non-stop raids, which are going to feature 7 different raid bosses. That's going to be happening throughout the whole event. We've got the anniversary choice battles. That's happening through the 4th of June. We've got the worldwide missions anniversary edition. That's going to be live throughout the whole anniversary. We've got the anniversary treasure battle. That's happening through the 23rd of July. We've also got the anniversary adventures. That's happening to the 17th of July as well. We've got the Mon Monday Marvelous Legends Monday. That's happening through well, it's only one day, which is this Monday coming up, the 27th of May. We've got the Super Boost campaign to assist with XP, Zenny, things of that nature. That's through the 17th of July. We've also got the main story progress support campaign. That's through the 17th of July as well. We've also got some additional sales for Chrono Crystals. They've got an anniversary pack where you can get some Legends Limited power. You can also get some Ultra Z Power as well. So if you want to spend $79 for something like that, you can buy up to 2. That's available in the shop as well. And that is kind of it for what we have, which is a lot. So we'll go ahead and talk about the actual reveals and stuff that happened last night. I believe it took place around 10 p.m. Eastern time. So for anyone who's around the world, that was like 3 a.m., 2 a.m., you guys probably stayed up for that. We'll start off with you, Desla. Did you watch the reveal and stuff when it was aired?
I did indeed. So essentially for that, in regards to my thoughts on it overall, I mean, honestly, God, I don't know. I just definitely thought that it was a good start to finish. I had really no qualms with it, really. Like, the only thing that I guess was kind of a gripe, and I think would have made it like just undeniably like the strongest part 1 ever, without to the point where if someone disagreed with you, you'd have to give them like a look, like like I think there's this like tweet going around of like there's certain things some people say that you just gotta hit them with the right, and that's about it. Like that basically to that extent. Like
Shout out my boy D Wade.
Yeah.
Shout out my boy D Wade.
Yeah. But no. So my only gripe with it is that if it were up to me personally, I would have literally just said, dude, screw it. Not only Zenkai, the full power Broly, but Zenkai Gogeta Blue.
Yeah, I was expecting that too.
That would have made it like an 11 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie. That would have been perfect. But that's quite literally the only qualm I have. Past that, phenomenal unit choices, a lot of content to sink your teeth into. Great all around. I have no complaints.
That sounds good to hear, man. Like when I was watching it, I was like, okay, they're probably going to hit us with a fake out, which they did. They were like, all right, goodbye, everyone. And then they dropped the Brawly Zenkai. I was like, Blue Brawly's getting a Zenkai? Oh, this shit going to be dangerous, bro. Like, they're going to up his stats. He's about to have additional damage inflict. Like, how you going to be able to stop him? And then I read his kit, which we'll save that for, later on in the podcast. But overall, like, I was very pleased with all of the units that were dropped. It did feel a little hurt that we didn't see Godku. Shout out to Krim. I was with you, bro. I was hoping that we was gonna get that, but unfortunately, they did not give us what we assumed. But what about you, Glow? What was your overall reaction of the reveals and stuff?
Oh, it was hype as hell. I'm a movies man. The second I saw SV drop, something told the second we saw so when we first saw the hints,
Mm-hmm.
it did the Kamehameha and Gallic gun, and immediately everyone was like, okay, it's a Broly movie and it's not Godku. At that point, you should have known, like, yeah, it's not Gaku anymore. It's Broly movie versus Buu Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Seeing all the Buu Saga stuff is great. Buu Saga is my favorite saga in all of Dragon Ball, so I'm hyped for everything there. Movies is my favorite tag, and so seeing all this, how Super Vegito and SS Blue Gogeta, how they all got like these animations done for them.
Mm-hmm.
Even Broly, whose kit is actually really solid, like he got a lot of good stuff, which we'll talk about later. He got done pretty well, and just overall, I think this is a lot of people are considering this might be the best. This is already starting to look like the best Annie of all time.
Oh yeah.
If
I
this
mean,
is how
if it
part
keeps
one
up,
is,
yeah, it's definitely going to
if
be the
it
best.
keeps up and this is the worst, if this is at worst what the anniversary is like, then they really can't mess up.
That's how I'm feeling right now, man. Like we're only in part one. They dropped all this in part one. Like I feel like with everybody going to like Las Vegas and stuff and having that one-on-one conversations with like the devs and everything, like they were able to take some really good feedback from that. Do you guys feel like that feedback is being taken in? Like with everything that we've complained about over the years, do you guys think they're listening?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like one big thing is they should never do a single banner for a part one ever
Mm-hmm.
again.
Yeah, that's in the past.
They should have definitely known that. They should have definitely learned it from MUI. Everyone hated it when they did it for MUI. And then when they did it with GF, people still weren't happy with that one either. So it's like I think now they're starting to realize, all right, part ones with one banner are not the wave. It's better off to start with a part two,
Mm-hmm.
a two banner, and then for part two you can do a single banner.
Yeah, I can see that. But even then, like with the 60th anniversary, do you think that we're gonna get dual banners part two? Because I feel like we've kind of familiar with the structure. They're gonna probably drop the LFs, more LFs part two, and then an Ultra part three. Do you think that they're gonna do a single banner
More
part two, or?
It's more so the methodology they have when they do this is hype part one, niche part two, and then hype ultra part three. That's how they do it. You look at what happened for Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Two hype moments, Evo Ken and Beast, followed by a niche moment, Goku and Bardock base form, which is dope, can't lie,
Mm-hmm.
but it is niche. And then another hype moment, Ultra UI. So that's kind of what like their mentality is when they do this kind of stuff. So my guess currently is they're going to do like something niche like Future Trunks, tag Future Trunks and Future Gohan.
Mm-hmm.
And then part three is probably gonna be like LF4 Coup because it's still the year of GT.
Yeah, but even then, like with us assuming or giving our predictions that this Forku was going to be a blue, now that we have this transforming, fusing Vegito as the blue, what color do you think he can be to help support fusions right now?
G4?
Yeah,
Goku? Wait, what?
Super Saiyan
Wait,
4
who?
Gogeta as the
We're not.
Ultra.
Oh,
We're probably not gonna get Gogeta for Annie, bro.
Oh, that's done deal. No
no,
more.
Gogeta's not coming for Annie. He's not.
No, there's no
Gogeta's
way.
coming for Festival.
Yeah, Festival's
Mm,
way
Like
more of a
we've
safer
had
bet.
this is yeah, these are two fusions already. We're not getting a third one.
No, that'd be too much even for them. But no, I do think that if we have to lock down the color for Goku,
Or LF4 Coup?
probably I don't know.
I mean
Maybe
he's gonna be
purple?
primarily GT. For
I don't know.
GT, I think it's going to be for GT. It's either purple or green.
Yeah.
Not a red?
Definitely not.
Well, I guess we'll have to see
You know,
what
they like. No, I'm saying it's definitely not going to be red. They like their little Super 17. Even though Super 17 is getting hit, something tells me they're not going to just get rid of him so quickly.
yeah. So then he may have that red slot for a little bit longer under GT as we see fit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Understood. So then, Opso, what's your initial reactions from the reveals and stuff? Did you watch it live as well?
Yeah, I watched it live, and it was pretty hype. And then I saw what Vegito does with Rush, and I was immediately disappointed. Immediately, because that is detrimental to the game as we know it. And then while I was sulking, they were beating me while I was down, showing me the Rising Rush mechanic, and then I saw free to play 18, and I was happy again.
Is she?
Sure.
She's not in game right now, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
So we'll have
Not
to
yet.
wait until it'll probably be like Tuesday or Wednesday reset when they drop her. Hopefully, based on this being an anniversary unit, she'll be one of, if not the best, free to play unit we've seen thus far. But one
No,
thing,
I've read her kit. I've read her kit.
He has
Oh.
like a shit ton of support.
She has a ton of support. Like in just her passive, she's giving 50%, and then with her main, she's giving a total of 80%.
pure damage inflict for the allies.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of support she gives.
That's actually absurd. Okay.
It's nuts. And she'll also get double card draw speed.
And she's a support unit, so her stats
Yeah.
have to be low. Like,
She is quite literally exactly what I needed.
so the androids is good. They don't need nothing else until Legends Fest.
I wouldn't go that far.
Like,
I would.
he said, I don't want to see that shit no more.
Yep.
Leave androids in the dirt. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, we've definitely got a lot to unpack here, especially with these new units. But I mean, overall, like, my initial reactions was just pure hype. Like, going on Twitter, everybody else was hyped. Like, I haven't seen not one person disappointed with the reveals of
Oh,
how
I
they...
can name one, and he starts with a Z.
Oh, no.
Oh dear God! Don't
Come
even
on.
mention
Oh,
my
no.
name, bruh.
Not ZVG, man. He's there's no way he was
No,
disappointed.
no, not
No,
ZBG,
not
not
ZBG.
ZBG.
Okay.
That's what knows who it is.
It's fucking Zed.
Well, what happened? Why is he upset?
Bro, that one tweet of somebody responding to him had me crying.
Shut
What
up. Dude,
That's what
I
that
remember-
tweet. That just
Nah,
had me crying.
dude, my eyes bulged out of my head the moment I saw him tweet out, "Not gonna lie, sleep anniversary." I'm like, what?
That's cap.
What is
Dude.
wrong with you, bro? Like,
Nah, dude, God's
Like,
just ain't for you at that point, bro. Just hop off. Dear God.
bro, Zed is known as like the professional yapper of like Dokkan and Legends. It's like whatever people are agreeing, whatever the most popular opinion is, he's like, you know what? Let me go against the grain. I don't even think he even agrees with any of it. He just goes against the grain for the sake of going against the grain.
He's the fucking swimmer of the community, bro.
Well,
Everyone's like, wow, we got so much CC. Him, we should have got more. Yo, bro, shut up. Like, he going to hate on everything. Everyone's like, this is hype. Bro, this is not hype. Like, and he won't even give a reason why it's not hype.
just straight up just says it's not hype and just leave it at that. No way.
Exactly. I'm like, yo, come on, dog.
Yeah.
Like, you why like that's just some buzzkill shit. That's not fun.
Well,
No one likes that.
I'm gonna give him I'm gonna give him a reasonable doubt. Like, you know, innocent until proven guilty, right? Maybe there's something that he was expecting. Maybe because he didn't see Godku, that kind of like ruined it for him, and left it from there. But I
And
mean,
to be fair, he's like this 24/7.
oh well, I can't protect you then, bro. Like this, if it's like that 24/7, then it is what it is. Man, but let's go ahead and kick off the unit breakdowns here. So we got a lot to talk about. We'll start off with the 1% sparking for the Vegito banner first, and then we'll move on to the actual fusing Vegito, and then we'll move to the next banner. So we've got Kaio Shin. Hold up. Yeah, we've got the Supreme Kai Shin that's in the game. This is the first time we've got any kind of representation for this unit. We'll start off with you, Desla. What do you think about this unit for your first initial impressions? Do you think he's good? Do you think his animations are clean?
So, second part, 110%. I was definitely taken aback by the fact that they actually, like, went that hard on a Shin. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what? Like, alright, okay. Got it.
Bro,
But,
we getting geometrical in this bitch.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. Hit him with a geometry dash attack, bro. Oh my god. But yeah, dude, no. Oh my god. Like, I I think in terms of what I've seen, like I didn't want to like look into too much about it because I wanted to kind of like just experience it for myself because I was fortunate to pull him. But
Mm-hmm.
based off what I read kit wise and like what I skimmed from a couple of showcases, he seems competent, I would say. And I think you'll only get better with obviously more stars, since obviously
Mm-hmm.
he's a support unit, since he'll be pretty star dependent with that in mind. I'll give him a try, probably like either later tonight or tomorrow at some point, since we do thankfully have a 3-day weekend for me. So thank
Same
God for
here.
that.
Same here, bro.
Yeah, and then I'll do that, and I'll probably the comp I'm likely gonna go with is gonna be like God Key ish team. It's gonna have like Shin leadered with the fusing Blue Boys and then Goku and Bardock, and I'll give that a whirl and see how that does.
Mm.
And it should do decently well. And I mean, I don't know. I just think that based off what I've seen so far, again, it's not much, but I'll have a more conclusive idea as to how I feel about him when I like test him out myself, obviously. But from what I've seen and read so far, I'm pleased. I think he's solid.
Oh yeah, like the sub count reduction, the damage inflict for allies. He's definitely looking solid for the most part. His attack stats are really high, but I mean he's a support unit. That's something what we typically expect. What about you, Glow? What is your initial impressions of this Supreme Kai Shin?
He's like a Bulla. He's a good support unit for what he's meant to do. Obviously, he has certain things that are like missing for him, but at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, he's solid support. That's really it. Like he himself isn't doing anything too crazy. He does a bunch of card draws, minus card draw speed, support, healing on swap out, that kind of stuff. Key
Mm-hmm.
giving your allies a card on swap out. He has 100% the paralyze chance to paralyze on main, but like he's just a solid support. Like if you want to run Majin Buu Saga, you should run him. If you're running God Key, he's honestly the best support for God Key, no lie.
Oh yeah,
If God Ku's Zenkai's and he buffs God Key, like it's gonna be really good for him.
for
I think
sure.
Shin may be a precursor to God Key becoming a better team.
I'm hoping so because Gaki really
Maybe.
needs it. And looking at his tags, he only has one, which is Gaki. So there's not a lot
Why
of.
he doesn't have Patara, even though it's in his picture, is beyond me.
Maybe it's because he didn't fuse with his homeboy yet. Do you think that? Well, then he would have fusions
That's the
too.
problem. That's the problem. If it was called Patara Fusions, that makes sense. Dokkan has the exact same name, Patara. It just means anybody who wears the earring.
Oh,
Wow, the one time Dokkan is actually better with categories. The one
Yeah, the
time.
one time Dokkan's better with character categories, and it feels weird.
That's when you know it's bad.
damn. So then they may have dropped the ball with just his category typed on where he's able to be slotted on different teams. I mean, but there's not really any Z abilities that buff Patara specifically. There are equips, I believe, that may tailor to that. But outside of that, I mean, his kit and his heals overall seem really good. And you made a great reference of him being similar to Bulla. It looks like he also gives the heals either by switching to standby or defeated, which is pretty nice. So definitely good to see that there. What about you, Opsta? What is your initial impressions of the Supreme Kai?
I love geometry.
Yep.
Throwing big old bricks and boulders at people, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's all I got. I didn't even read his kit.
Hey, no worries, bro. But one thing I've noticed, he does nullify endurance off of his ult, which is really nice. So
I mean,
Yeah,
you'd
they've
hope
been
for
doing
an
that a lot.
anniversary unit to do that.
so that's one thing I'd
Yeah,
say
at the
Shin
bare
has.
minimum.
Oh yeah, but that's one thing he has over Bulla, because Bulla's ultimate, even though it does faint, it does not nullify endurance, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. Ola, however, is a bit better in like disruption.
Yeah. And then also like she's throwing rocks, right? So if she runs into Super 17, she's not going to be able to absorb her key blast, but Shin, he's throwing blast, so, that's going to be receptive to Super 17's green card and such. But my whole initial impressions, I think he's pretty solid. Like he's doing a lot of good things. Again, Bola 2.0. It seems that the 10% heal off switch is going to be the norm for a lot of these support units, which is great because that gives them more viability to being on teams. Also applying death buff similar to when he switched to standby is also nice. So all around good there. So now let's talk about the fusing Vegito. We're gonna do an audible. We're gonna start off with you, Glow, because do you have this unit or you just have Gogeta?
No, but I have been sparring with people and watching people spars all day. Literally, we've been testing these units all day and seeing what works and what doesn't work.
So then you got to tell us what do you think? What's
Um,
going on with his kit?
E is number one. Number one because of Vegito. And it's simply because, spoiler alert, the Vegito is one to me, Gogeta is two. But of the pre-fusion side, Gogeta has the better pre-fusion side. Essentially, the main thing to note with this Goku and Vegeta is that they charge their switch gauge through green cards and what was the other way? If I remember correctly.
Switch
They charge
tags
their
out,
switch
right?
gauge through green cards. Yeah, on tag outs, they get an additional 20%. The
Mm.
thing is, they're a little less consistent with charging up their synchro gauge. And they're also, as a unit, they themselves, you kind of don't really care much for the Vegeta and Goku side. You're just trying to accelerate as fast as possible and do what you can to get over to Vegito, because that's really where all the value is.
Mm-hmm.
The Goku and Vegeta, their main big thing is somebody uses a big move on them, like ults, awaken arts, or rising rush, they reduce ally sub count by 5.
Which is
That's
nice.
cool. That's dope. That works. Exactly. That works. That's dope. They have the unique gauge, which is essentially the Kidku gauge, and doing that, will charge the synchro gauge by like 50% to an ally sub counts by 5. And then the big thing is whenever they're hit with an enemy, whenever their allies are hit, they ramp up. And so when
Mm-hmm.
they come in, they'll have ramped up damage and card cost reduction. That part I'm a little iffy on. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it is something. And then once they fall below 50%, they blow up your enemy's hand, which is good and pretty annoying.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. Vegito, on the other hand, is I know we call certain units Rising Rush merchants. This nigga is a Rising Rush god. I'm telling you right now. Like it's exactly as Obsto's saying, bro. Like Rising Rush, this might be like the strongest Rising Rush has ever been.
It
You have a
absolutely is.
unit, like bro, you have a unit that says you cannot guess my rush.
You can't lose.
Like
Nah, bro,
you
they
can't
need to
lose.
Zenkai that blue TN. We need him right now.
Does that even
Like,
work?
bro, and it's like, uh, we have not tested that yet. We do want to test that. But Go Frieza does stop him.
Okay. At
Go
least.
Frieza does stop his rush. The big thing with it is that, the big thing about him is like obviously he has the big rush stuff. He has a bunch of ways to ramp, specifically drawing cards, like how original SV does,
Mm-hmm.
and he has the FG effect where every time he's tapped or hit with anything, after that attack is over, 15% to damage inflicted for allies for 15 counts. That's really good. Um, with him having the whole rush thing, he gets to endurance, but at the same time, if he pops someone's revival, he gets 50% damage inflicted and increases Dragon Balls by 2.
That's
That's crazy.
ridiculous.
For him having that alone is crazy. He has so much in his kit of just generating Dragon Balls that it's honestly ridiculous. But it one good thing is that does his endurance null on rush is cancelable. So there are ways around it. Him
Okay.
entering the battlefield, reducing their card draw speed, that's cool. I will, and also he seals special move ults and awaken arts, which are actually pretty big. When he enters the battlefield, like Super 17 cannot hit him with his ults on cover change. Units that draw special moves or if they cover change have blue cards, they can't like hit him. But that's only 5 times he does it.
Mm.
He also gets to increase card draw speed when they switch out, and he goes type neutral when they switch out. That I will say that is one of my biggest issues with him, is that he needs the opponent needs to switch for him to get his type neutral. If you're already in with a tanky green, he's not really getting through you.
Yeah.
You would need the green beforehand, the green unit in beforehand to be able to like try and scare him off. If you don't, and you try and bring that green unit in, he's gonna have that type neutral. Same with the prefuse states. They do the exact same thing with their type neutral. It's like you don't want to switch against them unless you know you can disrupt them. Because one big thing about these units is that Goku and Vegeta, when they come in for, if I remember correctly, Goku and Vegeta are Let me, because I remember they're immune to like disruption.
Mm-hmm.
Or like how? Let me see. Yeah, Goku and Vegeta are essentially immune to like attribute downgrades for 60 timer counts when the battle starts. So you can't. It's really hard to disrupt them for the first 60 counts. By the time Super Vegito comes out, you can do stuff to disrupt Super Vegito.
That's ridiculous.
So while he is number one, he is not perfect,
Yeah. So it
but
seems
he does
like
farm a ton of Dragon Balls.
if you have like a really strong green that's like already in battle, then that's kind of like your only shot of actually fighting him. Unless he hits you with the Rising Rush, you can't guess it. There's nothing you can do. You just take it and pray that it doesn't kill you, from what it sounds like.
Yeah, Ultra Gohan has the gauge and stuff to like try and stop him. But if he rushes, you're done for.
Mm-hmm.
He'll kill Ultra Gohan, and it's a guaranteed kill because it'll go through.
So then this brings up my next question. Now they have introduced a unit that says the Rising Rush button is the I win button. What is your strategy to fight against something like that? Like, what does Team Comps have to look like to fight Super Vegito?
So the big thing is that when they get Dragon Balls, they're immune to Dragon Ball destruction. But the big thing is, what anti-rush tools do you have? Do you have I think I think Dusla can expand more on this, but because I don't want to take up too much of the time, but I
Yeah.
think the three biggest anti-rush mechanics that can really work against Vegito are cover change rescues, comeback, and indestructible. And I'll let Dusla talk about that part.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with it is that like cover rescues right now are just like so unreliable just because like you never goddamn know when a unit's gonna have cover null at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we could actually have it to where a rescue could like on entry, like if you know they have one ready to go, that if we would in fact get any more units that have that mechanic, that when they still have like one or two in stock to use, that they come in and they wipe buff effects to where their cover rescue will go through no matter what, then that'd
Mm-hmm.
be a lot better. And that actually salvage the mechanic, but whatever. However, he's totally right though on comeback and indestructible being invaluable right now because you can't do anything about it. Doesn't matter what character you want to bust out to rush him, it's still going to go through. It's still going to happen. So, like the safest thing you could run if you'd really want to at this point is probably just like Super Vegito with like maybe Goku and Bardock and like Frieza, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
and that would do pretty well. If you want to have a bit more cohesion, though, you could do Vegito with Frieza and then Baby, and have more of like a PO bench to support that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not really a secret in case you haven't really been in the know, but Baby is probably the biggest winner from this update. Not gonna lie, like
Hey.
oh my god, dude, the guy has had the biggest glow up in the last 2 months I've ever seen a premium unit have. It's been monthly for release. It's crazy, but yeah, that's what I would say for that. So I do think that given all that info, that your best bet, if you got them, obviously they're definitely more on the scarce side of things for options, but
Mm-hmm.
they're there. It's either Frieza or Goku and Bardock.
Damn, that's crazy. And like, even with the mechanic that this Vegito gives 50% damage inflict if he pops a revive, we know that the comeback mechanic is not counted as a revive. Is it still worth running revival units just to live and then having to fight a 50% damage inflict extra Vegito with two
I
additional
think
Dragon Balls?
Yeah. I think that if you keep in mind that I don't think it's a wild take to say this right now, that I'll have to think about it more conclusively when I get like I guess like a week or so under my belt for the units
Mm-hmm.
that we have right now. But I think that the best revive currently is probably Pycon and Gogeta. Like they've
And
gotten a
even
lot
then, their
better.
liability.
Well, they are, but I mean, I'm the point I'm getting at is that you wouldn't run them unless it's with Frieza.
Yeah.
That's when they're
Oh
the
yeah, 100%.
safest because you can easily just sub count, reduce, and switch into Frieza, and then you have nothing to worry about. You'll be all right. So yeah, that's why if you're gonna run that unit, it has to be with Frieza at this point.
Damn, that's crazy. So Frieza stocks are up, way up with this
Oh, big
update.
time. Big time. Like I think Lo mentioned before, but like Frieza now, it was looking clear before that he was like pretty much head and shoulders above like Super 17 and Gohan, but like now it's like, bro, like if you don't got Frieza in your top three, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, especially him having the
Plus,
movies tag.
Frieza, yeah, and I think the big thing is that this also ended up increasing Frieza's stocks, but also balancing him out because one, GB exists, and two, because GB exists, Frieza glaze setups of like mono purple got worse
Thank God.
Mm.
because GB will just shred through them.
Oh yeah, with that
And now
assault
that those are
mechanic.
not like as viable anymore, um, GB has essentially brought down UGF's comeback from like just nuking you from 0 to 100.
Yeah, and when you
So it feels
fuse,
way more balanced.
when you do the fuse, does that fool you? That bring you back to full health, or do you keep the same
Yep.
health?
Yep.
Full heal.
That's
Full,
ridiculous.
full heal, and in fact, your peak HP is way higher. Right now we some people have been checking. I think it's Madara. He checked, and the peak currently in game for the fusions you can hit is like almost 7 mil.
That's ridiculous. Wait, so these
That's another
guys,
big thing. Their Z abilities
yeah, that
at
too.
30 at yeah, at full Z abilities, we're looking at essentially a unit that buffs 4 stats, like the 2 standard
38%.
one,
Yep.
plus the little bonus one for another tag, and then HP. That is insane for a unit to have.
That's ridiculous. What were they thinking? Well, I guess it's the anniversary. So that's what they were thinking. They said, we got to make sure these units have so much value within their kits, within battle, within last man standing, within rising rush mechanics, with the anti mechanics in the game. And it's actually absurd. It's actually absurd. What about you, Obsta? What do you think of this unit overall? I know you were talking about the rising rush mechanic and how it almost gave you a heart attack and stuff, but for his overall,
I mean, it gives me a heart attack because if you don't have any unit that can cancel like his endurance nullification, or like indestructible, or comeback, you're fucked.
it's crazy.
It's an absolutely detrimental mechanic to the game.
So does that increase like MVP 17 stocks? Because he removes buffs when an opponent uses
It would,
Rising
yes.
Rush, right?
I'm willing to bet we're going to start getting units like 17 who does that. Like a lot more units like 17.
Yeah. Is this with their synchro mechanic? What is this, Yu-Gi-Oh? Like this shit is actually pretty ridiculous. But now like buff removal is extremely important now with these crazy units running around here, and they're healing every time they tag out, and then they heal to full when they fuse. Now that's absurd. And then their equipment selection, because they have the Goku, Vegeta tag. Hold on, let me look at the tags. So they
Yeah,
got
they have all of their tags.
they got all of
They
them.
keep
So-
them on fusion. Yeah.
Wow.
There are two right now. The one equip that's guaranteed optimal for both new fusions is the PvP equip.
That's crazy, man.
Wait,
And
the PvP equip. What does that do
what's
again?
what's the PvP equip?
It's like the Bardock Goku or the Frieza one,
Oh, this is giving
where
the
Pull it
pure.
the first slot, yeah, it gives HP, special move, 20% strike attack, and then 12% pure strike if you're a Goku
It's like
and a Vegeta.
the Saiyan Saga one from like last campaign. Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's like those.
Okay. I'll farm up then. Why not?
My gosh.
And then the ones that are in the 6th anniversary event,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the one that's meant for Gogeta Blue is optimal for him if you're not running him on fusions. And I'd say the same. The SV one, it's kind of the similar situation. It's like outside of fusions, those equips are optimal. On fusions, it's debatable.
Yeah. So you're looking at the Give Up Boo equip, right? Is that the one you're referring to?
No, it's the one where it's Goku holding the Potara earring.
Okay. Yeah, because I see another one that's in game, but it looks like that's not obtainable right now. It's probably going to drop once co-op resets. But it's
Yeah,
one
that's
giving.
the new co-op equip getting.
Yeah. But damn, that's crazy, man. Like, talk about a meta reset. So we'll see how the meta currently revolves with the Shin and this Vegito that's running amok. But man, Fusion's got the ultimate glow up. They really did. So let's move on to the next banner and talk about this new Brawly. We'll start off with you, Obsto. What do you think about this new Brawly? Did you summon on any of the banners, by the way?
I did a few rotations on Gogeta's banner because I just like Gogeta.
Mm-hmm.
I used him a bit. He's fun. I got a few of the Broly. I haven't used him yet, but from what I've seen, if you like trucks, that's what Broly is.
It seems that's
Yeah,
been the trend for like Brawly. Like he hits really hard and he ramps up as he
he's
stays
snowball.
in. Yeah, he snowballs like crazy. But he's also got some decent defensive mechanics too, right?
I think
Yeah,
so.
his card draw speed reduction is pretty annoying if you're not immune to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not immune to it and like you can't really get rid of it at that moment, it's going to really just hamper your combo. It's going to make it really hard to combo against him.
Mm.
I think um that Broly is like, to me, he's exactly what the OG, the other Green Broly from the we had a few years ago. He's exactly what he should have been. Like
Mm.
a snowballing offensive unit. Like he stacks damage on strikes and blasts, and on strikes he also stacks cut pen. That is insane for a unit to do.
It
His
is.
blue card having like attribute upgrade and buff removals. The craziest thing people don't forget, his green card. He gets a green card 3 times when you switch out. When he uses a green card, he gets key. He gains a card. He gets strike damage, 50% to the next arts damage inflicted, and he goes type neutral for 3 counts. And then his ult is an AoE ult that gives the entire enemy team 20% more damage received for 30 timer counts. Like that's insane for a unit to just do like that. Even for a 1%.
Yeah. It's actually absurd. Does it nullify endurance too? Does his ult? I don't think so, right?
No, it doesn't nullify endurance. It just does a lot of damage.
Okay. I mean, that's still pretty good for a 1% sparking. But
And he
overall,
peaks at 90% crit rate too.
90% crit rate? Wait,
Yeah,
what does this guy
he
hit?
innately has sorry, 60, sorry, my fault, 60.
Almost had a
So
heart
high.
attack. I'm like, hold on, we got hit 2.0?
No, he has a 30% crit rate for 60 counts, uncancelable. He's immune to abnormal conditions for the first 60 counts. And then he also has on his main 30% to own crit rate. That's going to be permanent.
And does any power down in his kit?
No, he does not do any power down in this kit.
Okay.
Broly is essentially a snowball unit that you really, really don't want to switch out against because he'll just snowball like crazy, and he's a little bit annoying to combo against.
Yeah, because of the draw card down and all that other stuff. But I mean, yeah, overall, I
Yeah.
mean, his kit definitely looks very modern for an anniversary unit. I mean, he's able to get double card draw speed from what it looks like, right? Or is it single?
Yeah, he gets card draw speed just for being in,
Mm-hmm.
and then I mean he gets no, he only has +1 level, but he gets a card coming in and then gets a card when he uses one too.
Okay. So we've seen that from other units as well, like the 8 Vegeta. Um, I think the Trunks Vegeta, when he activated Blast, you get another Blast. So it's pretty similar.
Oh yeah, he does get another level of card draw speed, but it requires the enemy to switch.
Yeah, oh, okay, there it is. I was like, yeah, this guy's gonna be just ramping up, and he's got Blast Armor on Strike too. Yeah, this is, and he gets his Vanish Restore on main. That's also really good as well.
Oh,
So you can catch your enemy off guard when switching in. Yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, the biggest thing is like, is people gonna run him on powerful opponent in movies? Like, I feel like movies is so like cluttered with units at this point. You can just make whatever you want, and then with PO, you've also got plenty of units to run as well. Maybe for Proud. Proud actually will be a good pick because you'll need to run a full team. So there's that.
his, yeah, Broly's only issue is simply he is a green Saiyan and he is a green movies. His bench options are trash.
Dang.
That's really it. It's if you want to Zenkai buff him, you're making the overall team worse. That's his only issue. Is just he needs a more optimal Zenkai bench.
And they might just give us one for this anniversary. We'll have to see what they come up with. Maybe the Buhan will buff green powerful opponent, which this unit will be able to be Zenkai buff
His
with.
Z ability is regen.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, the Buhan dropped way before Pio was a thing in the game.
That's unfortunate. What about you, Deza? What do you think of this Brawly Fury overall? Do you think he's a good pick for the anniversary? Do you think this guy's going to be any kind of threat to the current meta?
For me, I actually was not fortunate enough to actually get him from my summons on Gogeta's banner, so is what
Oh,
it is. Um, but in terms of what I think about him, obviously because I can't speak from experience, I have obviously skimmed some showcases like I did with Shin. Again, damage is very good. My only gripe is that usually with banner units or 1%, like they need to be doing more than just being a damage dealer to like really like stand the test of time. And as Globe mentioned, he's also suffering from a lack of consistent Zenkai bench options that would not just like hurt a team overall by having to go out of your way to try and actually buff him up.
mm-hmm.
So there is that to consider. But on top of that, like it's a matter of where I don't know. Like I just think it's weird. Obviously, I don't mind the unit pick. I do think that a new Fury Broly was definitely due. But why is it green just like the last 1% from 3 years ago? I don't. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I do like his kit. He's doing a lot, and he seems impressive. Like from what I've seen, but just again, my problem is that I think that if you want to be a well-aging 1% support, you can't just be trying to do a bunch of damage and like calling it a day. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
like be having more of like a well-aging type of utility role, like disrupt, support, the works. Like I don't think that going the damage route with the 1% is the move, but that's just me.
I mean, it definitely makes sense. And, even with him having some defensive capabilities, I don't know if that's going to be enough for this 1%. I mean, the stats look good. At 14 stars, he's sitting at, 192, 188 defenses, which is great. But just the way that these units hit nowadays, like the Gohans of the world, the Super 17s of the world, we'll just have to see fully of how he survived, especially not having like a actual real Zenkai bench to keep him alive. So we'll see how kind of all that goes. But overall, like I think as an anniversary unit, he's definitely welcome. I mean, we got another Green Brawly, so hey, if anyone wants to use him, by all means, use him and let me know what you think. I'm probably gonna try him out on Frieza Force at some point once I start going into banner and doing my summons, just to get my initial impressions, because I mean he is a strike melee based unit. Frieza is melee as well, and then the Gogeta I believe is also melee, which we're gonna move on to him next. So this guy, the Goku Vegeta that fuses into Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. So let's start off with you. What do you think of this unit?
Oh, they're very fun, and I like the fact that the main thing like one of the main things why I actually summoned for him was the fact that he can just get through all of like the auto mechanic bullshit that
Mm-hmm.
we're having to deal with this plague. He can just nullify that, and it's so good. It's so good to just make Gohans and Ultra UIs just fodder.
Yeah, like I saw his assault mechanic, and I was reading it off of the reveals and stuff, and it was like nullifies gauge. Wait, hold on. So he could just pummel through the Gohans? He can pummel through the UIs for
I, I
free?
I like the absolute contrast between this new mechanic and Vegito's Rising Rush mechanic, where Vegito's is actually detrimental to the game when Gogeta's is very much healthy for the game.
Well, they have to sprinkle some
Do remember
detriment.
though, I will say, do remember the big thing is that even though it's like anti counter gauges, because mind you, it works against Janimba too,
Mm-hmm.
and all these units. The big thing is it's also cover null. It's
Yeah,
essentially
it is.
on command cover null whenever you want. He has cover null nowhere else in his kit but there because this is essentially just on command.
And like, doesn't it change all of your blast to strike when you begin this chaining event?
Yup,
That is absurd.
yup, it does all that.
So you could.
It is like it's crazy. It's like there's so much about this Gogeta that he kind of just like the only thing that makes him two, in my opinion, when it comes to Gogeta and Vegito, is the consistency of is like the how his gauge is.
Mm-hmm.
Like when his gauge isn't really popping off like it does, he's like he's two. But there's certain situations where when his gauge is popping off and you get it two, three times in a combo, yeah, he looks like number one.
Wow.
And the
That.
big thing is that so another big thing is this Gogeta has the part of Gogeta's kit is the opposite of Vegito. You know how I mentioned that for the Buu duo, they're immune for the first 60 counts?
Mm-hmm.
The Goku and Vegeta for Gogeta, they're not immune, but once you go into Gogeta, he's immune to everything and it's uncancelable for like 50 counts.
That's the whole game.
So and so essentially you're in a situation where once Gogeta comes in, there isn't really anything that can disrupt him other than key reduction and card destruction. But he has tools in his kit to recover from that mid combo.
Wow.
Like and the big thing about Goku and Vegeta is that their ability to their way of tag switching to fuel up their synchro gauge is way better than the Boo Bros. You need essentially maybe maybe two or three tags switches, and you can get them in I've seen people go into Gogeta 10 counts in.
Wow.
Like I'm not even joking. I've seen people go right straight into Gogeta 10 counts in, and it's actually ridiculous.
That's absurd. And like when Gogeta comes on the board, it's kind of like the I win, especially when you start popping those strikes and going inserting cover no long command. But so
He
doesn't
enters and
the
destroys all their blasts.
yeah, and for getting the actual fuse, does Vegito get it faster than Gogeta?
Yes, Gogeta gets it faster than Vegito, way faster because for Vegito you get it off of your green card and tag switching.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for Gogeta and Vegeta, for the Gogeta's ones, you get 60%. You get 60% on green cards, and both Goku and Vegeta side when they first enter, you a green card, and then their blue cards, they do it once. They charge the switch gauge by 100%.
So it seems that both of
And
these
that's on
guys.
activation.
So you don't even have to hit it. It's that's actually absurd.
Yeah.
So then I gotta ask then, like, do players or should players shoot for fusing immediately, or do they use that as like mid to late game?
So with the Boo Bros for Vegito, you
Mm-hmm.
want to fuse into them as fast as you can. With the Blue Bros for Gogeta, you can actually just hold on to the fusion because a big thing about them is one, they do have this nice little VT effect where if they fall below 50%,
Mm-hmm.
they reduce the enemy's ki by 70, cancel all allies attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions, shorten all allies sub count by 10, and they go type neutral for 15 counts. You also do want to swap with them because the buffs they get carry over to Gogeta. And a nice interesting thing is when they're below 50% and they swap out, they give support to the team and reduce Dragon Balls.
Yeah, I saw that 20% damage inflict. Like, so they're
Yeah.
doing all this. They're hyper offensive. Like, you can barely stop them once they start chaining cards and infusion, and they're supporting the team. This is, yeah, this is a meta
Yeah.
reset. That's
They're-
all I can say.
It is. It is. And the only issue with that is just it's the support isn't consistent because you do need to be below 50%. Mind you, Gogeta has the same thing too. It needs to be below 50%. And when they swap out, they heal themselves 30% too. So the next time they come in, they would need to drop below 50 again to give the support.
Hmm.
But another big thing is when Vegito has impact damage reduction, which is massive. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen units that have damage reduction is crazy. Vegito gets his when his gauge is full, and it's like a set amount. I think it's like what 15. Let me check just to make sure. Because Vegito gets his with a full gauge, and it is yeah
Uh,
10% to impact, explode, slice, and pierce by 10% and defensive type neutral permanently. Gogeta, on the other hand, does essentially the Bojack effect. You remember how Tesla, I think you remember how Red Bojack reduces damage for every card he uses
Yeah.
for like 5 counts.
yeah, they got something like that in
So
here too. For the impact
yeah,
damage reduction by 15% for 5 timer counts when using arts, that's busted.
yeah. So if you get into a situation where you miss an attack and they start comboing you, you're going to have 15% impact damage reduction for like the first 2, 3 cards. And that actually with how he is as a unit, that's going to matter for the first few cards, and you're going to be able to tank those hits.
Mm, crazy. And then you can just fuse and and heal yourself all the way back to full. That's so broken. Like these guys are so broken. But what?
I think the only no, I was gonna say the big thing about him too is the fact that his gauge is really easy to fill up. His green card fills up his gauge. It's essentially a 50% damage buff for 2 timer counts, and you go type neutral. There's no limit on it.
Mm,
And I think the real big thing that people are gonna have to get used to, especially using him,
mm-hmm.
is the frames and animations for some of his effects. For the assault chain, you can sidestep after doing the assault chain. You can do the assault chain, pop main, then use a blue card, and it chains.
Wow. So
So it's essentially as if you just did a strike. It just has the animation for it and the anti-cover dome.
does it
But
show the
it
animation
feels like it
too?
shouldn't chain. Yes, it shows the animation too. It feels like it shouldn't normally chain into a blue card, but it does.
Wow. So then this Gogeta is essentially breaking the game when it comes to like combo composition. And Vegito is just breaking the game with just having the I win rush button.
Rush.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is.
Essentially, Vegito is the rush unit. Gogeta is the combo unit.
And they both can be ran on the same team.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. All right, what about you, Desla? Like, what is your take on this Gogeta? Do you also think that he's as good as what it shows in this kit, or do you think he's number one or number two?
Personally, for me, I actually didn't get a chance to use him today. Yeah, I'll probably use him a lot tomorrow. I've just been constantly using Vegito just because I was more hyped for him with the 2 units.
Yeah.
And he's very fun. Anyway, in terms of what I've seen though from fighting against him and also just looking through showcases and all that, again, he seems very, very dominant once he gets going. And I do think it's a situation where it can come down to preference, really, and also just like what you view as more broken. Because there's definitely going to be like situations where you can lean more towards Vegito just being able to totally clutch up a game, no sweat whatsoever because of his rush mechanic. Or there's
Mm-hmm.
situations where you're going to be coming across, like, let's say like prior to anniversary, like Optimal Sun Family, where you would run UI Sign with Ultra Gohan. Guess what? Gogeta does not care about either of those units. Bye bye. Like, so it's a thing of where it's situational, really, for what you're going to feel is more dominant. But I would say that more often than not, you are going to feel the impact of dominance for these 2 units more often with Vegito because Rising Rush is more of a universal mechanic. Meanwhile, Gogeta being able to nullify gauges, cover changes, whatever, is again more of a situational kind of thing. But I do think it's close in terms of what you want to go with. There's not like some ravine-sized gap between these two in terms of like 1 and 2. You
Mm-hmm.
can go either way if you want to. It depends how you view it. But for me, I'm trying not to be biased either. I'm being as fair as I can. I do view Vegeta as the more, I guess, impactful of the two personally. But that's just me. As for Gogeta himself, though, I do think that based on what I've been seeing, pre-fused, I would definitely say that it's safer to rock with the Blue Boys for longer than it is to go with the Boo Boys. Boo Boys you definitely want to fuse as soon as humanly possible. I would say they're not bad pre-fuse, but it's noticeable for a difference when you compare them with the Blue Boys. As for post though, again, it just depends on the matchup. Where, like I said earlier, you really need to have that just right matchup to where it depends on who you're queuing with. But if it's
Mm-hmm.
just that just right matchup, it's gonna hit different. But yeah, I don't know. I do quite enjoy them. Again, I'll say this now: they knocked their animations out of the park. 10 out of 10, looks fantastic. Kit wise, I like them a lot, and yeah, no, I mean, I'm very pleased with both of them, not just Gogeta or Vegito, and I think again, like they have got their work cut out for them, and then some for the rest of this anniversary. Is all I'm going to say.
For sure, for sure. What about you, Obsta? What do you think of the overall Gogeta? Do you think he's tied for number one or number two, or do you think they did right by his kit?
I think he's just number two, and that has to do with the fact that Vegito has a mechanic that I've expressed my dislike for. You know, the win button.
Yeah, the I win button. So he's got.
And I know I know everyone has made jokes about the I win button before, but no, Vegito just straight up has one.
That's
That's why he's number one.
literally. So like, I guess the only way to fight against these guys is to beat them before they fuse. Like if you see them, eliminate them off rip. But one call out I will make is, and this is a gripe that I have with the Vegito. The Vegeta's blue card is a range projectile similar to Super Vegito. Is it also, well, it looks like it's a blast type. Is it also slow where people are able to tap and then dodge it? Like there's travel time, or does anyone know?
For what exactly? I'm confused.
Vegeta's blue card on the Boo Boys side, or Boo Boys
From
side.
what I've noticed, no, there isn't like a delay to worry about. It's
Okay.
pretty much immediate.
You
Good.
can dodge it.
Oh, you can dodge
You can
it?
dodge it. You can dodge it, but it's not nearly as bad as Super Vegeta's. I would say that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's not like some Super Vegeta stuff, but you can do a card and then dodge it,
Okay, well, as long as it's not
like
as
a
bad
blast
as.
card.
Okay. So then, as long as it's not as bad as Super Vegeta, where you do the ult and you can go to the kitchen, make a sandwich, come back, it's still coming at you. You know, take a nap, wake up, and then sidestep to a PV. Then I'm okay with that. So yeah, that wraps up.
Not as bad.
Yeah, it's horrible, bro. But hey, he's actually in
Vegeta
the.
does. Nah, go ahead. Go ahead. You good. You good.
I was gonna say he's in the banner for the Boo Boys, right?
I think it's yeah, it's them, and I wouldn't know because I pulled them.
Super Vegeta is there for Blue Bros.
So for
I
people,
will say Gogeta does have the better non-fusions team.
Well, yeah, movies. There's like a billion options on movies.
oh yeah, like
Yeah. And Vegito's essentially limited to Saiyans and Majin Buu Saga.
yeah, and that doesn't
Yeah.
feel good.
I mean, if y'all want to tap in and try this comp, I think is definitely one of his stronger ones. For Vegito specifically, it's what I've been running like literally the entire day. Go with if you have the units anyway for it, you can go with him, with Goku and Bardock, and Baby. That works quite well in my experience. So give that a
Interesting.
shot.
And who would have the leader slot? Like for the team comp, who would be on the leader slot? Is that going to be the Vegito on the leader slot, or is that going to be Goku Bardock on the leader slot?
No, Baby would have leader, and then you would go on ahead and have for bench. For me specifically, why I do this bench is because I want to have HP.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've gotten questions about why would you not go with Forku instead, which, again, HP. But the bench in question would be Yellow Bardock with Namek Goku and then Majin Vegeta.
Interesting. Okay, that sounds like a very aggressive team. Like it seems that if
Oh, yeah.
you're doing crazy damage with that team.
Yeah. And I mean, right now, like in my experience, like Baby is probably the only consistent answer to these new fusions because, like, you can't do anything about his disrupt. It's just, it's going to happen, and you're going to be, like, essentially, like, hit with a golf club like straight to the dome piece like every time it happens, dude. There's nothing you can do about it. And if you can time it just right to where you can wait, you can essentially take what I've noticed anyway for what I've enjoyed doing the most is I
Mm-hmm.
will take 2 hits intentionally, get out, and I will wait for the worst possible time for that gauge to go off, and I'll swap right back in with them. And then at that point, dude, I could literally just go ahead and do that, and then quick swap back into Vegito and rush. They can't do anything.
Wow. Because they have no vanish. They're just stuck
No
there.
vanish, and I guarantee get my rush off. So, yep,
And there's the I win button. It's you're gonna
yep.
you're gonna die.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna die. You're not dodging it. Just that simple.
That's too funny. But I mean, overall, I think guys, Legends, the devs team, shout out to you guys. You have done a phenomenal job with the reveals and stuff. The units for part one are phenomenal as well, and we're all super excited to see what's in store within the coming weeks as we approach part two, and hopefully approach part three and see what the ultra is going to be. Last but not least, we do have one other unit to go over, and that's the Blue Brawly Zenkai. So, a show of hands, who has him high enough stars to even use this guy?
I do.
I do.
I'm 14.
Okay, so everybody's pretty much got this guy either past 7 or 14. Glow, you're the movie's master. Have you used him yet?
His Zenkai isn't live.
His Zenkai
Oh,
does
it's
not
not
drop until
live.
Wednesday.
Okay.
That's why I was like iffy whether we want to fully talk about it because his kit, they essentially just fix his consistency, gave him better starting damage, and plus he has better ways to ramp up more permanent damage.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue, plus they also gave his alt type neutral,
I saw
nullifies
that.
endurance. He has 7. Because here's the thing, right? People look at his own unique and be like, oh, he only has 50% damage inflicted. That's not true. He has 50% damage inflicted or 50% strike damage, depending on who you are, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then he gets the 30% from one of his new uniques. You're now at 80. He gets his other conditions, as Goresh calls it, quest conditions. You fulfill certain things and you get buffs.
Mm-hmm.
Those buffs cap out at 60. So now you're at 140% damage inflicted before you even ramp. Now, he also has the legendary Super Saiyan equipped. For Brolys that are Super Saiyan, that gives another 20% damage inflicted. Now we're at 160. We look at what his own plat does, right?
Because he's
His
got
own
that
plat,
too.
um, his own plat doesn't have damage inflicted until you kill somebody. Now you're at 50. So now you're looking at Broly is now at what was it? One second. Now Broly's at 210 damage inflicted if he's killed someone and fulfilled his conditions before a ramp. That is insane for a ramp up unit to have that as a base. Essentially, you're not building Broly's ramp, you're building Broly's base. It makes his ramp even more dangerous.
So that I think it's safe to say we can crown this guy the king of ramp.
Yeah. The only issue though is he has no starting base card draw speed. All
Yeah.
his card draw speed comes from his green card and from people switching.
And then also cover null too, right? He only gets that off main.
He only gets it off main.
Hmm.
Also, his blue card is now funny because it removes attribute upgrades and buff effects. So if somebody has an immunity, he can remove it and then have a chance to fade them.
Wow. So the Fang's getting off regardless. That's pretty much what I'm hearing.
There's a good chance, like if you like have some immunity, now you have the threat of actually getting fainted. He he does have one slightly useless thing, and that's his third unique, where if he's cover changing, he restores health by 5% and gets the buff effect, nullifies enemies, reduce key effects for 15 counts.
Yeah.
I Something tells me that's only for units that like punish you for swapping out and reduce your key.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that. I don't like how that works because it's like if you combo like it's such a weird thing. It's very situational. And then he also has if the opponent uses a strike or blast arts while he's on the field, he reduces their key by 5 and minus 5% to their Striking Blast Arts Power for 5 timer counts. What the effect does isn't bad, but those numbers are trash. That should have been at least 10% for 10 counts.
That
Reduced
with
key by
that with his defenses, he might be unkillable because they'll just be healing it all back and pummeling away from his ramp. Plus with his
maybe.
so like, man, it's I'm actually super happy that they Zenkai'd him. Like I'm gonna mess around with this team and see what I can cook up with once his Zenkai is like fully in game to be obtained, and just see what he can do to the rest of the units in the meta. Not having a cover null like anywhere else but main on his kit will kind of be difficult to use. So you just got to learn how to like drop combos and use your cards effectively and have good knowledge of the enemy's team so you know which cover change they do have. But outside of that, I mean, I think he's a fantastic choice for this anniversary. But Opsto, what do you think of his initial impressions overall for this Brawly? Do you think he's well deserved based off what his kit looks like, or just a bench option for Janemba?
I mean, you mean a Blue Broly?
Yeah.
He seems he will be great, but of course, like we've just seen his kit. We haven't seen anything else.
Yeah. So I mean, all we can go based off is speculations at this point.
He seems like he'll be good, but of course we won't know.
That's true. Same thing with you, Desla. His kit looks solid, but more to be seen once he's actually in game.
Pretty much, yeah.
Good deal. All right, well, so then that kind of wraps it up for the news and updates and meta talks related to this anniversary. As you guys know, there's plenty more coming as we go through each weekly reset. So we'll definitely come back and discuss on what's being revealed in game, and check out on how the meta is evolving overall. But that is it for this week's episode. As for like Dragon Ball related news, I believe they just released a new DLC for the Xenoverse, so I believe that is out. If you want to go ahead and check that out, by all means do so. All right, well then that wraps it up for this special episode. Again, thank you guys for listening, and hopefully you guys will have a fantastic time and good luck on your summons. I hope you get all the units that you want and you ask for. But until next time, we will catch you guys later.
See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.